Thank you very much for attending today. I started Rate back in 2015 and actually started thinking about patient feedback you know, and how to use patient feedback and leverage it since 2014. So really, it's 10 years that I've been eating, drinking, and sleeping this topic. So I think I could pass on to you some very good information, some nice little nuggets, and hopefully you could bring a few home and help improve your online reputation for your practice and for your doctors. We're going to start with just a little bit of an outline. It's going to be not a long webinar. There's about 20 slides. Should take no more than a half hour. But we're going to go over what reputation management is overall, and of course, Google has a very important role in that. And then we have something called not SEO, but reputation SEO, and how to light up Google's algorithms to recommend your doctors and your practice or your hospital to patients who are searching for care online. And then we'll have some Q&A. You could even type questions as we go along. At the bottom of the screen, there's a little Q&A button. You could just click it and type in a question. And then at the end, we actually have a Google Listings optimization checklist, which is really cool. It's very detailed, and if you do, there's a lot of checkboxes, but if you follow it, you really maximize your reputation SEO and make your listings perfect. I always look at online listings, Google listings or any listing as your online billboard. So just like you want a billboard to look beautiful on the side of the road, everybody looks at it and it's perfect and there's no typos and everything looks great. You want the same for your online listings as well. There's a lot of eyes on those listings. So we'll share that with you. So first thing is, this is, by the way, our mascot, Federico. Federico is a bee, and he pollinates the online review sites, as you can see here, and helps grow your online presence across all the different review sites. But first, let's just start with the basics, the reputation management 101. All healthcare reputation management is taking control of your online image and brand to attract patients. At the core of it is just online listings, right? Look at the reviews and ratings, make sure it looks nice across Google, Healthgrid Vitals, WebMD, or anywhere else that a patient might be seeking care. There's also Facebook, there's RateMDs, anywhere a patient might search for a doctor, you want to make sure you're focused on making that look as good as possible. Also, let's not forget, reputation. What's your reputation? Also, your website and your social media presence reflect your reputation as well. When patients are searching for you, your practice, obviously they go into your website, and from a social media standpoint, more and more patients, like my wife is on our Bergen County, New Jersey Facebook Mommies group, and they're asking for doctor recommendations all the time. So you want to have a solid social media presence as well. To build, we call it HRM, by the way, Healthcare Reputation Management. To build a perfect online reputation, first there's just the easy items, patient generated content. And it's so important to generate lots of patient content. A listing with 50 reviews on Google or Healthgrid or Vitals or WebMD versus 100 or 200 reviews, just there's a lot more comments, and it builds a lot more trust among patients, right? The more reviews you have, the higher star rating, the more comparatively your reputation will look better compared to your competitors. You also want to demonstrate that you care about your patients. So we talk about responding consistently to reviews. It's like a little, from a patient's perspective, I've put up reviews on Google, and when a business responds to my listing, it's like a little dopamine hit. It's like, wow, they responded, right? They read what I wrote, they care. And especially if a patient talks about some bad encounter or dissatisfaction, responding to patients is really important. Plus the optics. If I'm looking at your practice's, let's say Google listing, and I see all the responses, I'm thinking, oh, even if it's a bad review, this practice is responsive If it's a good review, they're responding, they're engaged with patients, and it just makes you look really good in front of a patient and prospective patient's eyes. And then you want to make sure, like I said before, like your billboard, you don't want a billboard that has typos or missing information in the middle, like no phone number or no website address on the billboard. You just want to make sure you have complete listings on across all the review sites. Again, just to make it easy for the patient to get the information they need. Imagine you're at the side of the road. There's a billboard, and if it doesn't have it should have a website, a little link at the bottom. Like, why make it hard for the patient? Give them everything. Get the listing perfect and correct. So reputation is obviously very important. You want to, just like any SEO or any online activity, you want to appear at the top of search results, and you want to make sure you don't have poor ratings, right? Just think about it. I'm a rating snob, right? I would never go to a restaurant that had 3.5 star rating. I just wouldn't. It has to have minimum 4, preferably 4.5 or more. Same thing with a doctor or any business. If there's any listings, Google Health Grades Vitals, any of the review sites, if there's 3-point-something stars or 2-point-something stars, that just says to patients, something's wrong. There's a lot of doctors in my area. Let me search for another doctor. So you just want to make sure you don't have poor ratings. That's like the low-hanging fruit. And once you have a nice online profile, you're improving your brand awareness. Your brand looks good. Right? First thing, just take one of the biggest health systems in the country. Let's say Intermountain. You just start Intermountain Healthcare, and the Google listing comes up, and it says 3.4 stars. Right? That's not good for the brand. Right? You want it to say 4.8 stars, lots of reviews. So you're building trust and awareness that you're good. You do a good job taking care of your patients. And obviously that helps you edge out your competitors who aren't doing as good a job. And even if, and also you want to, the little nuance here is, think about it, hiring a young doctor or hiring employees, the first thing they're going to do is Google your practice. So you put in your practice, if they say 3.5 stars, they're saying, ooh, do I ever want to work at this place? Maybe I want to work at a place that has 4.8 stars and 300 reviews, because it seems like patients are happier with this practice. So even from that lens, trying to attract top talent, which is harder and harder now, right? Especially if you're in a rural area, where it's harder to attract doctors, or a competitive metropolitan market where you're competing. Let's say you're an ambulatory practice, you're competing against the hospital. Hospital might have better benefits, maybe even better pay, but you want to be able to attract those doctors, and employees too. So having a great online reputation helps with other things other than attracting patients. So these are common questions we get asked all the time, or objections, so to speak. We get referrals. Why should we care about our online reputation? Okay, I'll address that. What if we get more negative reviews, right? I'll address that too. People worry about that. What about paid ads? Why not pay for ads, and then patients could click and they'll end up on our website, and we'll attract patients that way. So let's just talk about these 3 main things here. As far as referrals go, they've declined steadily over the years. There's still referrals, but a lot more patients are self-directed. I think, there used to be a lot more HMOs in a lot of markets where patients didn't have as much choice of doctors. Now there's more choice, and the Medicare crowd, they could just choose their doctor. Here's a stat, and I look at these statistics through the lens of, they're mostly vendors that do these studies. So these statistics could be a little bit inflated, but even if you cut everything in half, right? 88% of patients we found, or another vendor found, still look at doctor reviews after being referred. That's doctor.com. Even if you cut that in half, 44%, it's still a lot, right? And I do that. Perfect example. I had oral surgery. I had a tooth that was pulled, a wisdom tooth, this late in my life to get a wisdom tooth pulled. And my dentist gave me 2 cards, two oral surgeons within my local area. I said, who do I pick? I got a referral from them. I Googled them, and of course, I picked the one with the highest the highest star rating and number of reviews. It was that simple, right? It used to be who gives you the best appointment time, right? Because no one was looking at online reviews. So let me see where I can have the most convenient appointment. But now if one practice or one doctor is highly rated and another is not, I don't care about the convenience of the appointment time. I want that doctor with the highest rating. So this is very true, and a lot of people do it. And even the elderly, the kids do it, right? We search for doctors for my mom. You know, me and my siblings search for doctors for my mom. She's 89 years old. We search for doctors, and we base it on the online reviews, right? When we have a choice among a few doctors. Happy patients tell their friends, right? So here's another stat. You're worried about low star ratings or more one-star reviews. Our data shows, and we've built over 1 million reviews for our client base, 97% are 4 and 5 stars. It's just a fact, and under 2% are 1 star. So when you request reviews from all your patients, all you're doing is making it easy for someone like me who would go to a doctor's office, right? I go to the doctor's office, I have a good experience, and I go home, and the last thing on my mind is to post a review, right? But you know, if you think about it, there's a 1-star patient who's really peeved. They're going to go out of their way and post a review. Where for me, if I just got a text that said, "Hey, post a review," and one little click, and I see, let's say, Google pops right up, and I could post a review real quick, I'll do that, right? So someone like me, who your average 5-star happy patient, is just not posting reviews. So if you make it super easy for them, you're going to get a lot of these 97% 4 and 5-star reviews, and it's just going to really bury any of those 1-star and 2-star unhappy reviews, which is exactly what you want. And then, you know, paid ads, they're just very, very expensive. And what we want to talk about here is just naturally attract your ideal patients through, you know, pure search results, and that's the reputation SEO, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Great question. Somebody just asked, are prospective patients primarily looking for reviews on Google? What about Health Grades Files and WebMD? I'm going to talk about it a little later, but it's all tied together in Google's algorithms. You want to have a strong online reputation in all the review sites. And also think about it. You search for a doctor. You see on the top right, the doctor or the practice's big Google listing profile. That's where the eyes are attracted. But, you know, sooner or later, the patient starts, you know, eyes start going to the left, and they look down on the search results, the organic search results, and you know, usually they'll see high up health grades. And if that says 3.8 stars, they go, ooh, what's that? There's some dissatisfaction. I might even want to click in 3.8 stars and read why the patient's so dissatisfied with this doctor. So it's important to have a well-rounded, balanced online reputation. And we're going to talk about how to drive your listings through Google, you know, by lighting up Google's algorithms so that Google will recommend your practice over your competitors rather than having to go through an expensive paid ad. So we talk about Google's role in online reputation. Again, there's so many more views, right? Like this, I love this. This is like a billboard, right? This is your online billboard. Like if this said 3.8 stars and 7 reviews or 20 reviews, like would you put it up on a billboard on the side of a road? But yet your online billboard is just this, right? As soon as, and it's also intention. Someone driving on the side of a road might not be thinking about an ophthalmology care, but somebody who's searching for you, an ophthalmologist, or searching for this doctor, they're looking for that doctor. So why shouldn't your online billboard look like this? It should look perfect. Everything's spelled right. Everything looks good. It should have pictures. Just picture it as your online billboard. And would you take your listing that you have now for your hospital or practice or doctor, and would you transfer that and pay $10,000 a month on the side of the interstate to have that show? If the answer is like, no, I wouldn't do that, it just doesn't look good, then you have a little bit of an online reputation problem that you would need to fix. So this is just, you know, the type of search results that Google gives you. So when you say best doctor near me, and when I'm saying doctor, that's replaced with best orthopedic surgeon, best emergency room, best urgent care center, best LASIK surgeon near me, best knee replacement doctor near me, right? Best colonoscopy doctor near me. When you do these kinds of what they call them local searches or near me searches or category searches, there'll be some paid results that come up top. And then below the paid results are the local results. And this is where Google starts recommending, based on their algorithms, which practices. A lot of these, and you'll see a lot of these best, when they use best results, they won't even show reviews that are 4 stars or under 4 stars, right? So if you have 3.9 or lower, your doctor, your practice never is going to show up in a best near me search. So, and this is pretty prominent. And a lot of times there's no ads, so this shows up real high. And then there's the organic results, right? Just you see best doctor near me, and then just whatever the old typical Google from 20 years ago would just show those organic search results. So this little thing here, we call it the 3-pack. Google has a map and recommends 3 practices based on your search term. So we did best hospitals in Shelbyville, Indiana. This happens to be one of our clients. You could see major health partners. It's showing their hospital listing, their service line, their oncology, hematology, and family medicine. And you could see this filter here. Google automatically has applied a 4-star higher filter because they know you search for best, right? So it's 4 stars or higher. Also important, remember we talk about volume of comments. You want lots of comments because that's going to create more search matches. So notice, what did Google do? Best medical care. They found the comment of these 346 reviews that had the word best medical care. So that matches the best hospital search in Google's mind. So they're more likely to promote this listing versus another listing from a competitor that might have 30 reviews, right? And just not happen to mention the word best. Same here, very good doctors. Okay, it doesn't say best, but Google obviously is smart enough to equate very good doctors with best, and they're showing that. So you see that a lot, especially if you do like super categories, like super deep category searches. Like try it out on your computer. Best knee replacement surgeon near me, right? Oftentimes you'll see, oh, Dr. Jacob did a great job replacing my knee, right? And again, the reason why it's showing up is because Google, Google's the king of crawling. They're the king of, right? They crawl everything. They crawl their own review sites, and they're pulling in what patients are saying and then using it to serve up in their algorithms these recommendations. And there are 4 primary factors. There's so many factors that drive this, but the 4 primary factors are the 4 R's. So if you're going to walk away with anything today, remember the 4 R's. Reviews, you want a high number of reviews, 1,200, a high rating, right? 4, 7, 8, 9. Recency. So if a listing is stale and the last review was posted 60 days ago or 180 days ago, Google's not going to score that listing as high as where there's fresh listings all the time, every week, every day, every few days. And responses. There's articles you could search. Google has an article themselves that they wrote. You could just search for it and find it very easily. They talk about if you want to improve your local, in this case, the 3-pack search results, respond to your reviews. Google likes when businesses interact with their customers, or in our case, patients. And they like that. They're going to score you higher. They're going to promote your business if you're engaging with patients. And then there's a 5th bullet here. That was one of the questions that was asked before. Also in the algorithms of the secondary review sites, right? Healthgrades, Files, WebMD, RateMDs, Facebook, right? If you have good online profiles on those review sites, Google's scraping them too, and that fits in and lights up their algorithm as well. So it's important not just to build Google, but the other review sites. And so, just really good, following the basics, the 4 R's. There's more in that checklist I'll show you at the end. There's so much more little things you could do to keep perfecting your listings and make them just right. That'll again help you have Google promote you. And what's better than having you promote Google without Google promote you without having the word advertisement or ad next to it, right? Like this is a recommendation, not based on what someone's paying. This is a true recommendation. So I, as a patient, I would weigh these recommendations heavier than a Google ad. Okay, I'll answer that question toward the end. Remember we talk about the 4 R's, the other review sites, but there's also more to do, and these are part of that checklist. But these are the high flyers. Again, this is your online billboard, so you want to make sure. One little trick is upload to your primary profile picture in your Google listing a very high resolution photo, because if you do a high resolution photo, there's more of a chance it's going to show up here rather than, and we've seen everything like a dumpster. We've seen that. We've seen, just an empty parking lot, fire hydrants, right? This is what you want. This is what you would be proud to display on the side of the interstate and not a parking lot or a dumpster. You want to own the listing. This is important. See, it says Mark A. Steele, MD. Google actually needs to see like this and your address match perfectly with your website, right? So we don't want this to say Steele Mark. We don't want it on the website to say Dr. Mark Steele on his bio page. We want Mark Steele, A. Steele, MD. So this should be, we call it name, address, phone number match. We want to match these identically. And, we want to have the right category. We want ophthalmologist, not doctor, right? Remember, we talked about, this is in the Google listing. Google will pull in other reviews from, remember, they're scraping the other review sites. So here, right in the Google listing, they're showing WebMD, and Reiterate has its own review pages like WebMD does. So we call those verified reviews. Google oftentimes pulls them into their listings as well. So again, that just reinforces the importance of building reviews on other secondary, the other review sites, because Google's scraping them. It's important, but they're sometimes, all the time, they're incorporating them into your listing. And then we'll show you. I'm not going to go through each one, but there's just office hours, appointment links. It doesn't have to be online scheduling. You could just go to your Contact Us page, or if you have appointment booking software, just have links to that. So you just want to make sure you have a clean, helpful listing, which is perfect for a patient, that gives them the information they need about your doctor. And again, if I search Mark Steele, MD, this is the very first thing that's going to catch my eye when I search for his name. We're talking about the categories, ophthalmologist, right? You'll see some of your listings might say doctor. Just make sure you use, they have so many categories. And even in some, like orthopedics, they actually have hand surgery or sports medicine doctors. Some of the subspecialties, like ophthalmology, they have pediatric ophthalmologist or ophthalmologist. So they have lots of different subspecialties. We actually have a list. If any of you want that list, we created recommendations, a far more deep list than this, that you should use to make sure you're tagged correctly. Because if this says doctor here and a patient searches for eye doctor or ophthalmologist near me, Google doesn't know you're an ophthalmologist. They're not even going to promote your listing. And then responding to reviews. Best practice, you see how the response. So if I'm looking through the reviews for a doctor or a location listing, response from owner, we love to hear from him. Thank you for your feedback, right? As soon as you post this, the patient's going to get an email. Wonderful, right? The patient feels good that you're responding to them, and optics wise, prospective patients are reading these. You want to keep it brief and professional. No personal information. It really is a best practice. I see it all the time. People violate this all the time, but it's a best practice to put in, not to put in a patient's name. So John Doe, John, thank you for the review, or Joe, thank you so much for the review. We appreciate it. Don't mention their name. Don't mention their procedure. Keep it very generic and professional. And that way you don't have to worry about admitting that John Doe is a patient of yours and talking about their care. Just keep it very simple. And if a patient's upset, just say, we're sorry you're upset. Here's a number to call. We want to resolve this. Again, patients love it. They might call the number. More likely they won't call the number. They're just happy that you posted that you could call. But prospective patients, when they see how you care about the patient, and you want them to call you up and resolve the issue, again, from an optics perspective, it's a great thing to do. And then obviously you want to restrict at your practice who could respond. You don't want 100 people who could respond, and then you have no control over the messaging and the compliance with HIPAA and whatnot. I got a question from Donna. How do you get Google to update your photo? They currently have an old photo. So again, of an old photo of a website we're under construction, Donna, if you own the listing, this is the first thing, you got to claim and own the listing. Then you can start changing the listing, and there's a little button you could press to upload a photo. And again, a high resolution, like a 15 megabyte high resolution headshot, not that rastered down or that JPEG compressed file that's on your website. You want that real big file, and you're able to click the button, upload it, and then again, if it's a high resolution, it's more likely to just show up right here. So we just talked about reputation management and got a little bit into reputation SEO, but let me complete the thought on reputation SEO. Again, it's just totally based on near me searches. Is lighting up Google's algorithm to recommend your locations and your doctors and your practice or your hospital. So it's on top of regular healthcare reputation management, and it's on top of website SEO. Everybody loves website SEO. You do tags, and you have content, and you keep your website fresh with new content. There's all this stuff you do on your website. But again, you want to work with Google's algorithms. So that's reputation SEO. We kind of went through it, but you want to make sure you're doing the right things to have Google recommend you in those near me searches. And then we come to trust marketing. So this is all about trust marketing. And the more patient comments you could showcase online, right, the more patients are going to trust you, right? So again, if you have 8 reviews versus 800 reviews or 80 reviews, and they're going to trust Google's algorithms, again, more than those Google ads, and even more than your website. Your website is your marketing site, right? So, you might have testimonials on your website, which is nice, and you might have great descriptions of the doctor and all the great things the doctor has done in their career and where they trained. But if patients trust this doctor and they're vocal about it, and Google, which is a ubiquitous brand, right, across the globe, if Google's recommending your doctors or your practice, then that's marketing gold. That's worth a lot. And then trust marketing is tied in with social proof, right? You want to be able to have patients read your reviews and kind of start painting a picture of what this doctor is like or what the practice is like, and that's just pure social proof, right? Patients reading it and it's like, fine, I'm going to book an appointment here because everybody else seems to be very comfortable booking appointments as well. And how do you put your social proof to work? Obviously, you have your homepage and your doctor's bio pages, very important. And some practices I've seen have one page with all the doctors. You want each doctor to have their own separate bio page, which is actually better for SEO. You want to do social media. We have a lot of, we have a testimonials widget, so a lot of practices pull a testimonial. She's so knowledgeable, thorough patient, and great with patients. Just copy and paste it. Testimonial Tuesdays. Take 1 or 2 of your doctors, and on every Tuesday, post a testimonial. You'll be surprised, and then get your folks who work at your practice to like it, and then all their friends will see it in their feeds, so it becomes a little viral. So that's like low-hanging fruit. You could do doctor shout-outs on your testimonial. Let's say they participated in a charity, or have special training, or a new doctor. You could put that on social media. And video testimonials are important too. Actually, Raterade has, when we identify a testimonial grade comment, we ask the patient if they'll share their name with you, and they could be used as a testimonial. So now you have the name of each patient who says, yeah, you could use me as a testimonial, and they're ideal patients to just reach out to and do a video and post that on social media. And then we have something called verified review pages, which are here. These are like Google Health Grids Files, WebMD have their review pages. Raterade has that too. These are verified. The difference is they're verified reviews, right? We know the patient came and saw the doctor, so we interface with your PM system and your EHR system. So these are verified reviews, and they appear high in search results. And patients, again, they like verified reviews. Who doesn't like verified reviews over random reviews that could be posted for anybody? In fact, anybody on this call, I could dial into your primary care physician's online listing and post a review from me. And I don't even know who they are, never saw that doctor. So it's nice to have, from a social proof standpoint, to have verified reviews. So just to reinforce the 4 R's, and our takeaways today are, again, the 4 R's: create those complete listings that are accurate, do all the responding, and leverage all those good comments online to create more social proof, especially in the social media. And don't let bad reviews stop you from building a strong online presence. Again, the math is 1-star unhappy patients go out of their way to post a review. 5-star happy patients don't do anything unless you ask them. I mean, that's just a good general rule to follow. And this is Taylor, I'm not sure if how they could access this. I forgot to ask.
It'll be
it's in
available.
the email, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna do a follow-up email. This is a great checklist of all the little things you could do to perfect your online reputation. And also, if you'd like, just we do a reputation SEO scorecard. We look at the 4 R's for Google and the secondary review sites, for the locations and the doctors, and just see an overall score. And kind of like, if everything's checked off, then you're doing everything you really should be doing for your Google, to help with your reputation SEO and scoring high in Google's algorithms. So we're always happy to put that together. We love just creating a database of practices and listings, and being able to do these analyses for you. Are there any questions now that we're just wrapping up here?
We had the one question from earlier regarding marketing agencies.
Oh yeah, if we're working with a marketing agent that handles our SEO, should we even worry about reputation management? This is a little dizzying here. Let me go back. So yeah, marketing companies do a great job with SEO. That's traditional SEO. When it comes to reputation SEO, all the stuff we talked about today and how to build a polished, balanced online reputation is really something that a company that's expert at it, right? Just like Raider8, we're fellowship trained in online reputation. Just like if I want to replace my knee or my shoulder, I'm going to go to the fellowship trained shoulder doctor who does 300 of these a year, and not just 5 or 10 of those procedures a year. So there's definitely a benefit of working with somebody who really knows the subject matter. Okay. Well, since there's no more open questions, I think that I came within 4 minutes of our end time, and I thank you so much for your time today. I hope you learned something. And if you have any follow-up questions, just let us know. Taylor will reach out to you as a follow-up. We'll give you a link to the webinar. You could share it with your colleagues or friends. And if you have any questions, you could just reply or email info@raider8.com, and we'll get back to you. Even if it's even if you're not a client, it's a Google question, we're happy to try to answer any questions we can to help you out.